Welcome to Study Kendra. Today we will talk about Class 10th Chapter 2. Federalism. Let us know what federalism means. Federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. A federation has two levels of government. Both these levels of government enjoy their power independently of the other. One is the government for the entire country, which is usually responsible for a few subjects of common national interest. Second, governments at the level of provinces or states, which look after much of the day-to-day administering of their state. Difference between unitary system and federal system. Unitary system. There is only one level of government, or the sub-units are subordinate to the central government. The central government can pass on orders to the provincial or local government. The central government is supreme, and the administrative divisions exercise only powers that the central government has delegated to them. Their powers may be broadened and narrowed by the central government. Federal system. There are two or more levels, or tiers, of government. The central government cannot order the state government to do something. State government has powers of its own for which it is not answerable to the central government. Key features of federalism. Distinct levels of government govern the same citizens, where each level has its own authority in specific matters of legislation, taxation, and administration. The fundamental provisions of the Constitution cannot be unilaterally changed. Such changes require the consent of both levels of government. The existence and authority of each level of government is constitutionally governed. Courts have the power to interpret the Constitution. The highest court acts as the umpire if any dispute arises between various levels of governments. Sources of revenue for each level of government are specified to ensure its financial autonomy. The federal system has dual objectives: to safeguard and promote unity of the country, and to accommodate regional diversity. Union territories. Some units of the Indian Union, which are too small to become an independent state and could not be merged with any of the existing states, are called union territories. They are also called centrally administered territories. For example, Chandigarh, Lakshadweep. Coalition government. A government formed by coming together of at least two political parties. Usually, partners in a coalition form a political alliance and adopt a common program. For example, National Democratic Alliance, NDA, the United Progressive Alliance, UPA, and the Left Front. Different routes through which federations can be formed. Two aspects are crucial for the institutions and practice of federalism: mutual trust between the government of various levels and agreement to live together. There are two kinds of routes through which federations have been formed. The first one is route involves independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit. This kind of coming together federation is formed in the USA, Switzerland, and Australia. The second route is that a large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government. This kind of holding together federation is followed in India, Spain, and Belgium countries. India, a federal country. Although the word federation is not used, the Indian Union is based on the principles of federation. The Constitution declares India as a union of states. The Constitution originally provided for a two-tier system of government: the Union government or the central government representing Union of India, and the state governments. A third tier of federation was added in the form of panchayats and municipalities. As in any federation, these different tiers enjoy separate authority. The Constitution provides for a threefold distribution of legislative powers between the Union government and state government. What makes India a federal country? All the features of the federal system apply to the provisions of the Indian Constitution. The Indian Constitution is a threefold distribution of legislative powers between the Union government and the state governments. The three lists are mentioned below. 1. Union list. It includes subjects of national importance such as the defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communications, and currency. The Union government alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in this list. 2. State list. It contains subjects of state and local importance such as police, trade, commerce, agriculture, and irrigation. The state governments alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in this list. 3. Concurrent list. It includes subjects of common interest to the union and state governments. The list includes education, forest, trade unions, marriage, adoption, and succession. Both the union as well as the state governments can make laws on the subjects mentioned in this list. If their laws conflict with each other, the law made by the union government will be considered. Holding together, federations. In this agreement, a large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government. The central governments tend to be more powerful than states. Often different constituent units of the federation have unequal powers. Some units are granted special powers, for example, India, Spain, Belgium. Sharing of power between the union government and state governments. The sharing of power between the union government and the state governments is basic to the structure of the constitution. The parliament cannot, on its own, change this arrangement. Any change must be first passed by both houses of parliament with at least a 2/3 majority. It has then to be ratified by the legislatures of at least half of the total states. In case of any dispute about the division of powers, the High Courts and the Supreme Court decide. Reasons for success of federalism in India. Clearly laid out constitutional provisions providing a threefold distribution of powers in the three lists, union list, state list and concurrent list, between the union and state governments. The nature of democratic politics in our country. The creation of linguistic states. Boundaries of several old states of India were changed to create new states. This was done to ensure that people who spoke the same language lived in the same state. Restricting center-state relations. How is federalism practiced? The real success of federalism in India is attributed to its nature of democratic politics. Have a look at some of the major ways in which federalism is practiced in India. Linguistic states. The creation of linguistic states was the first and a major test for democratic politics in India. From 1947 to 2017, many old states vanished, and many new states were created. Areas, boundaries, and names of the states have been changed. Some states have been formed of people who speak the same language. These states are known as linguistic states. Language policy of India. Our constitution did not give the status of national language to any one language. The formation of linguistic states united the country and made administration easier. Our country's leaders adopted a cautious attitude in spreading Hindi. Hindi was identified as the official language. Besides Hindi, there are 21 other languages recognized as scheduled languages by the Constitution. Major steps towards decentralization taken in 1992 are, now it is constitutionally mandatory to hold regular elections to local government bodies. Seats are reserved in elected bodies for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes, OBCs. At least 1/3 of all positions are reserved for women. The State Election Commission was created to conduct panchayat and municipal elections. The state governments are required to share some powers and revenue with local government bodies. Structure of the new Panchayati Raj institutions. Rural local government is known as Panchayati Raj. Each village or group of villages has a Gram Panchayat. Panch, President or Sarpanch are directly elected by all the adult population of the village and is the decision-making body. The Panchayat works under the supervision of Gram Sabha, with all the voters as its members. The local structure goes up to the district level. A group of Gram Panchayats form a Panchayat Samiti or block or mandal. All the Panchayat Samitis or mandals together constitute the Zilla Parishad, which consist of elected members. Lok Sabha members, local MLAs and officers are also members of the Zilla Parishad. Its chairperson is the political head of the Parishad in India. Urban areas. Local bodies, municipalities are set up in towns. Big cities are constituted into municipal corporations. Both are controlled by elected bodies consisting of people's representatives. The municipal chairperson is the political head of the municipality. The head of municipal corporation is an officer called the mayor. Conclusion. Federalism is important for a country to invest in progressive growth with the inclusion of all local and state authorities. Some of the powers are handled by the state governments while central governments hold authority over certain sections of society. Thanks for watching. If you find this video helpful and informative, please share and hit the subscribe button.